big year for the Laguna Woods History Center. It's the 60th anniversary of Leisure World, Laguna Woods, all of that all combined, and they are celebrating over at the center. I want to welcome to the program Catherine Bryans and Gail Dixon. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about the History Center in general. It's been around for quite some time, and what do you guys do there in terms of how you decide what exhibit's going to be what and what you display and what you don't?
Absolutely. Well, first thing first, we've been an organization since 1977.
Okay.
Correct. So we've been around not quite as long as the community, but when Rossmore Corporation was beginning to phase out their construction, some of the materials were given to the Historical Society, which is what we were called previously.
Back in the day?
Back in the day. So what our focus is maintaining the history of not just Laguna Woods, but some of the surrounding areas that pertain to us. Laguna Hills was a big part of this community for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were communities built in Laguna Hills for families to be next to the folks here in Leisure World.
Well, we welcomed them all because we were here first. I think basically what our goal is to maintain that information. We can do it digitally or physically. And in physical, I mean, there's actually items that we have. Some of them will be on display. And also in physical files where people have given us things that have not been scanned. They're just, but our goal is to eventually get everything digitally. So we get that in several ways. Community members give us things that are pertaining to our community, and just providing researchable information, not just for our residents, but for other agencies that like to contact us.
Okay. Now, Gail, you've been kind of helping oversee the 60th anniversary celebration. What are some of the things that people can see for this anniversary if they go down to the History Center?
Well, we've had we're having 3 major exhibits during the year, and you're going to talk about the first one with the molten display.
No.
Oh, I am.
I will.
If she has to. Come on, Gail, give us the details.
The Molten Museum gave us a wonderful, wonderful exhibit for 4 months, and it featured major items that have never been on display before. And we had the yoke from a cow.
An oxen.
An oxen, yeah, okay. And many, many wonderful display items. And then we had in our smaller exhibit case, we had Nellie Gale Moulton's artwork, her original palette.
Wow.
That was kind of exciting. So we had a nice professional exhibit to kick off the year. And then our second one, which is currently on display, which is being shown right now, our president and CEO comes up with the signage to describe what is on display. And then my job is to go back in the archives on a treasure hunt and find the photographs, frame them, find some materials that maybe are colorful, which might come to bear. That we have a caterpillar replica.
A toy caterpillar box here. What's that all about?
Well, as I said, we're trying to put color into the display, and it's very similar to one of the scrapers that was used in the original construction of the land. So we're hoping that people will fill out a little card, and we'll do a drawing August 28th, so that maybe they can win this for their grandkids or for themselves.
Now, Orange County's pretty built out these days, but when I was a kid, I remember seeing earth movers all the time, everywhere, in these new communities that were just springing up in South Orange County everywhere. And earth movers were they were part of the landscape, and they were like the eagles and the hawks and then the earth movers.
Exactly. And then we. I wanted to have a pink Princess telephone, so we found one of those. And then another colorful item, we had contacted a company that rents out items. And this company, our request was too inexpensive for them, so they couldn't help us because the minimum was like a $10,000 rental fee, and that wasn't quite in our budget. So the gal that I had been talking to said, well, I personally have a Smith Corona typewriter from back in the day. Oh. So she drove over and loaned it to us. And back in the first residents were given a gift of personalized stationery. So they had a box of stationery. So that kind of tied in. So just whatever we can do to make the display interesting.
Wow, it just kind of brings the kind of the flavor of what it was like back then, and the times and everything like that.
And our last display exhibit will be generally celebrations that went on for the 60 years. We have a 10th anniversary, we have 25th, the 30th, 45th. Some of them didn't really have much going on.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun over there. A lot of history.
Exactly.
When you guys also, not only do you have the displays and that kind of thing, but you also serve some of the clubs and some of the groups here in terms of storing their materials like minutes and those kinds of things for them.
Absolutely, and it's temperature and humidity controlled, which is what we need as an archive anyway. But they can take advantage of that by nothing eating their paperwork.
No bookworms getting in there.
And that's one of the
things like that.
only ways that we raise funds. They pay $50 a year for storage. And because we're an independent 501c3, we don't get anything from assessments, so we just live by donation.
Okay.
And that's important. We're in a GRF building. Our organization built that building but donated it to GRF with a long-term lease. So we get to stay there and collect things that are important for people to research.
Right. And like you said, for the storage that people can use, I think one of the things you mentioned to me before we were talking about, like sometimes the people are keeping those at their place, and unfortunately in this community, when someone passes away, family members come in, don't see the value in that, and they throw all that stuff out. So it's kind of a safe place for people to store the archives of the clubs and those kind of things too, right?
Yes, it's important because and for anyone that has things that they think might be important, bring them to us. We'll let you know.
And what's it like? Do you guys get folks coming in researching the history of this place or researching things from this area? Is that something that it's open for anybody to be able to use?
It is, and we've had some really interesting stories, and we'll have people come in and say, gee, my grandparents lived here back in whenever. And I don't remember their address, and so we'll ask them what year maybe, and then we'll take them back to look at old phone books, and they can find out where they lived and drive by. And
we have old phone books.
Yes, back to 1964 every year.
Now you've come on the program here, and what are some of the other ways you kind of inform people about what the History Center does, and how do you kind of get out into the community?
That's a good question. We try to get information out through the Breeze, in the Globe, weekly. I do speaking at clubs and organizations, and I think that's the way we stay in touch, by just keeping the word out, what we're doing, what we're about, because when someone's informed, then they're more than likely to come in and find out more or add to it. And it's really important for us also to stay in connection with outside organizations like ours. And we've been very fortunate to have very good response from outside organizations by what we do.
And we have a great gal who's just come on board as a volunteer that does our weekly Facebook posting.
And gotten a lot of feedback from that, which is great.
Right. Well, it's the 60th anniversary. Folks should get down to the center and take a look at some of the exhibits, participate in some of the events you guys are having. Catherine and Gail, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
For having
it was a
us.
pleasure.
And when we come back, we'll be taking a look at our Monday movie. Stay with us.